Welcome to the commentary booth, where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by an impact fee technician who lists their favourite movie as A Nightmare on Elm Street and favourite TV show as Golden Girls. Welcome back to the show, Corrina Mabey.
Hello.
Very festive attire again.
Duh, it's fucking... I can't help it. It's Christmas-ish, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
It'll be getting close by the time this episode comes out. That's all good.
It's my new pair of matching pajamas for this year. And this is the 20th, right? No? Yes? 20th anniversary? No? 30th anniversary for Old Navy? I don't know what anniversary it is. Hold on, it says it on here. I think somewhere. Whatever. Anyway, they're my anniversary pajamas this year. 30th anniversary, that's what it says.
Yeah, well, at least someone's in the festive spirit. Even though she's totally wrong with her festivity choices.
I am not. There are multiple multi-holiday movies, such as Nightmare Before Christmas. That is a Halloween and Christmas movie. And, other Halloween and Christmas movies like Krampus. And then there's other movies that are Christmas movies that you wouldn't think of being a Christmas movie.
No, there are other movies that are not Christmas movies, despite the claims of the internet.
And everybody else that you fucking know probably in your entire life.
No. So, on that note, this week we are here to finally settle the debate once and for all. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? Spoiler alert, it is not.
Yes, it is. It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, just so everyone knows what sides we're already on.
Clearly. And I'm just saying, you're going to put like a poll or something up when this drops, right? Are you? I feel like that's necessary to put a poll up with this. So you can see how wrong you fucking are.
We'll see about that. So, yeah, in terms of Die Hard, the original from, when's it from, like
1980-something?
90-something?
No, 8?
Oh, no, yeah, 88.
Yeah, I was going to say, this movie is older than me.
It's as old as me.
Yeah, it's not much older than me, but it is older than me.
So it follows a New York police officer who tries to save his estranged wife and several others who have been taken hostage by terrorists at the Nakatomi Plaza in Los Angeles. Directed by John McTiernan, who's famous for Predator, The Hunt for Red October, and The Last Action Hero. Starring Bruce Willis as John McClane, Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber, Alexander Godunov as Carl, one of the Russian henchmen, and Bonnie Bedalia as Holly Gennaro McClane. So yeah, like we said, the big debate is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not. I have a list of for and against, and I obviously highly lean on the against category. Corrina is very much on the it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So we're going to debate that and also do a little discussion on the film itself. But, so yeah, we'll dive into the debate portion first. How should we do this?
Easy. You're wrong and I'm right. End of debate.
Okay, you keep telling yourself that.
It takes place during Christmas. They're having a Christmas party.
Okay, let's go one by one here.
Just saying.
So your first reason for this being a Christmas movie is that this takes place on Christmas Eve. Okay. In timeline space, yes, it takes place on Christmas Eve.
It's a Christmas movie.
Also, why the hell is this business still at work? It's fucking Christmas Eve, and they're only just now having their Christmas party? They're leaving it real late.
Hey, there's places that don't have Christmas parties at all, so be happy that they're having one.
Yeah, seems real late to be having that, but Yeah, okay. So it takes place on Christmas Eve. My counterpoint, it has literally nothing to do with it being Christmas. There's no Christmas Day in the movie.
Mm.
There's no presents. There's no meals with family. It's literally just a hostage heist movie that just so happens to take place on Christmas Eve. If these events took place on any other day, the movie would be exactly the same as it is.
Mm. Mm. I'm just saying, I mean, if you want to get technical with that, then wouldn't like Home Alone fall in that category if that's not a Christmas movie either? Because for the same reasons that
No,
you're saying.
no, because all of the family are there for Christmas Day. They
Mm.
go on a Christmas vacation.
Mm-hmm.
There's Christmas presents given out, and they have a big meal together, even though it's only pizza. It's still a Christmas meal together.
Okay.
And then they travel, and they leave him by himself.
So John McClane is
And
traveling.
then the reason that the wet bandits break into houses is to steal Christmas presents.
So
They couldn't do that on any other day of the year because there wouldn't be abundance of Christmas presents in every single house.
So John McClane is going to see his family for Christmas because he is on the other side of the country and is surprising his estranged, still married, but they're having a rough patch wife. So he's trying to surprise her and the family for Christmas. He even has a gigantic fucking teddy bear present for his wife. And they even say, like, Lucy McClane over the phone, it's just like, is daddy coming home for Christmas? And her mom's just like, we'll see what mommy and Santa can do. It's a fucking Christmas movie.
Yes, but the actual
No,
heist part of it could happen on any day and it would be exactly the same. The stuff they're stealing isn't pertaining directly to Christmas. They're not stealing Christmas presents. They're stealing bonds that would be there no matter what time of year it was.
Anyway, he
It just so happens to be he's there for Christmas.
He even writes out ho 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 on someone's shirt. So it's a Christmas movie.
No.
Anyway, that's fine. You'll see. There's a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people that you know that feel like this is a Christmas movie.
My next point is it's not happy, jolly, optimistic, or festive at all. It's actually filled with quite a bit of gore, violence, and swearing. Not Christmas.
Sure it is. It's fine. Have you watched The Terrifier 3?
Yeah.
Filled with
I
gore.
wouldn't call that a Christmas movie either.
It
just so happens to take place on Christmas.
No. Terrifier
It's the same
3
situation.
is a
It just
Christmas
so happens to be Christmas time.
Terrifier
It's got
3 is
nothing
a
to do
Christmas
with
movie. No, it is. It's a Christmas movie. He dresses up like Santa. He even kills a Santa. Like, no. It's a Christmas movie. Terrifier 3 is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you don't see the similarities between this. But yes, it is.
Any other points for?
No, because I've already settled the debate.
No. So you mentioned, yeah, he writes ho ho ho. He also tosses a goon down the stairs in a Santa hat, but that's nothing really major. So I guess Santa does make a cameo appearance, but it's really not Santa. It's just because of the time of year there are Santa hats lying around.
Christmas movie.
There is some Christmas music used. Winter Wonderland, Let It Snow, Ode to Joy. Not a core part of the thing. They're just like background ambient noise.
That's fine. Still a Christmas movie. If it's got Christmas music in it, it's a Christmas movie. You're proving all the right points. Like, I'm not hearing any like negative points that says it's not a Christmas movie. Everything that you just said makes it a Christmas movie.
It's because I'm leaving the nail in the coffin points to the end.
Pow. The 1-2 punch.
Another reason for, I guess, if you wanted to really clutch at some straws, his wife has a Christmassy name.
That's neither here nor there.
But yeah, Holly is just a name, so that's not really a major thing. For the film's 30th anniversary in 2018, 20th Century Fox did put a little sticker on the cover saying the greatest Christmas story ever told.
Oh, would you like that?
But they also had to re-edit the trailer to make it more like a traditional Christmas film.
That's
So
fine.
they had to change it to make it a Christmas movie. It wasn't intentionally meant to be a Christmas movie to begin.
I don't believe that in the the late 80s when this movie first came out, I don't believe they intended for it to become a Christmas movie sensation. But uh, over the years, it's just become one of those cult classic followed movies that most everybody I know is just like, oh yeah, my Christmas doesn't start until I watch Die Hard, The Gremlins, Home Alone, Krampus, things like that. And yes, Gremlins is also a Christmas movie. You can fight me on that one too, motherfucker. Because Gizmo's a fucking wait, never mind. Sorry, I forgot. You ain't never seen the Gremlins.
Nope.
Anyway,
the writers, Jeb Stewart and Stephen D'Souza, they support the notion of this being lumped in with Christmas movies, but they haven't definitively said we came out and wrote it as a Christmas movie. They're just like, oh yeah, I guess that like kind of fits, but
it works.
But my pow,
Oh boy.
1-2 punch closing out.
Oh boy.
In a 2021 poll in the UK, 47% of people believe Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And in the US, a 2019 poll by The Hollywood Reporter found that 62% of people agreed that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Okay, well, the UK, it's the UK, they're entitled to their opinions. However, the US, we elected a Cheeto for our next president. So clearly, they don't know what they're talking about. And it's okay
Yeah,
to
you
be
guys
wrong.
aren't very good at voting in polls.
No, we don't really do that so well. So, I wouldn't really go on that poll. The UK, I mean, it's not a movie for the UK. It's whatever. They don't know things either. It's cool.
But the ultimate, definitive, nail in the coffin reason for this not to be a Christmas movie
It's because I feel like I already know what you're going to say.
Bruce Willis even says,
Yep.
this is not a Christmas movie, it's a goddamn Bruce Willis movie.
Well,
And he is 1000% correct.
I'm aware it's a Bruce Willis movie. I'm all for that. However, it's still a Christmas movie.
No. Definitely not.
Yeah.
This is an action movie that just so happens to be at Christmas. Could take place at any time of the year. It wasn't even initially released in Christmas. It was released in July.
Mm-hmm.
That's the middle of the year. That's not a Christmas movie. That's a me birthday movie.
Okay, here. No. Listen, there's such thing as Christmas in July.
No, there
That's
isn't.
a big
There is
thing.
only... Yeah, because Jesus was born right here.
Yeah. No. Anyway, Christmas in July is a big thing over here. Like big marketing thing. I don't really know why that's such a big thing, but here, it's that
Because they
argument.
do sell you shit at the 6-month mark of the year.
So I mean, there you go. It works. It's a fucking Christmas movie. It's okay. The viewers and the audience will agree with me and show you how wrong you actually are. And that's okay.
No, we will. We will see, but sticking my flag in the ground once and for all, this is definitely not a Christmas movie.
It's okay. It's okay to be wrong.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The Velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
So if we reflect on the movie itself, what is it about this movie that you really enjoy, and what are your thoughts on the film overall?
Oh, I love this movie. I grew up
As a
watching
film,
these.
not so much as a Christmas movie, just
Yeah.
as a film in general.
So I grew up watching the Die Hard movies. I have all of them, actually. Like, I bought my mom a box set of them because this is one of her favorite franchises, and it's something that her and I both like bond over, is watching Die Hard movies. To which
Does she like the more modern ones?
she'll even take the more modern ones. Like Live Free or Die Hard is one of them, and then A Good Day to Die Hard, I think, was the other one that came out. I lost track of them all, but there's 5 in total. And yes, she watches all of them religiously, and anytime one comes out, I had to take her to the movies to go see it, the more modern ones, because it's just been our thing. And then that got passed on to Chloe, and
Poor child.
Chloe's been watching that since she was a very, very young child, as in like itty bitty all the way up. And I'll never forget it, the day that she just walked out of her room, or the living room, because mom was watching it on TV, and of course it's edited on TV, and it was the famous line that said "Yippee ki yay," and Chloe literally finished it and went "motherfucker," and I think she was about 4 when that happened. And I just
See, that's more you're backing up my points here. It can't be a Christmas movie if you can't have a 4-year-old watch it. Yet you did. You're a great parent.
Whatever, I can have a 4-year-old watch it. I'm sure y'all watch some questionable shit too. With your 4-year-old over there in the world, so whatever, it's cool. But no, yeah, I love these movies. They're just fun. These are one of those movies that you check on when you don't really have anything else going on, or if you want to just do shit in the background and have fun. Like, kind of just meander. And plus, the people that have been in these movies, fucking amazing. Like, Alan Rickman is in this one. Jeremy Irons is in one. You got Sammy J. Fucking, there's a ton of people in here. Justin Long is in one of them. So these hold a place in my heart, this whole franchise.
Yeah, Alan Rickman is almost unrecognizable visually in this because he is so young.
Yeah, and his hair and everything.
His voice is unmistakable. Like, as soon as he talks, like, that's Snip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeremy Irons, it's the same way. Like, he is more recognizable, but like the moment you hear Jeremy Irons talk in the 3rd one, I think it is, it's like immediately like, oh my God, Scar. So, yeah, it's fun. I love them.
Yeah, some of the notes I wrote down was in that opening scene where John McClane's on the plane and talking to the random dude that's sitting next to him.
Yeah.
That guy has a really weird post-flight routine and tip.
It's very strange, but I kind of want to try it now.
Get your bare feet grippers out and make fists with your toes in the carpet. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's kind of strange, but now, like, yeah, if I come and visit you next time, I feel like I'm going to just do that randomly.
I don't know how that is going to help.
It's a very strange routine, but it seems to work. And then that's how John McClane ends up running through this entire building through the entire movie in bare fucking feet for the most part. For like half this fucking film.
Until the end when he has to jump off the building and he's supposed to be barefoot and you can see he's wearing shoes. That was definitely an OH&S thing. They're like, you cannot jump off there with no shoes on.
Sorry.
The other note I wrote down was the German goon that John kills first, like the very first one he kills.
Yep.
I was like, that looks like Jeffrey Dahmer from the Netflix series.
Yeah, he was definitely like
that same haircut.
Yeah, and it's just, their whole outfits, like him in the whole like gray like tracksuit is just, it screams like 80s like style, and the hair and stuff like that, and his like glasses are just like perfectly round and shit.
Yep. And that Alexander Godunov character that I talked about that plays Carl. Did you know what he did before he started acting?
No, but he kind of looks like a bodybuilder or something.
Nope. Very different.
Oh.
He was a Russian ballet dancer.
Oh, okay. That's very how the tables have turned kind of moment.
I just, yeah, would not have picked that. When I read that, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a bit,
Yeah.
bit
So he
different.
was a ballet dancer, like in like proper ballet troupes, not just like doing it as a hobby.
Huh.
And then moved to America and became an actor and randomly wound up in Die Hard,
That's
not using his ballet
so
skills ever.
weird. That is so unique. Like, what a weird turn of events for someone.
Mhm. Also, the action in this is awesome. Like it's a great action movie, not a great Christmas movie, but
It's a
a
great
great
action.
action movie. Like the action is awesome. So much so that this kind of redefined action heroes and villains,
Mm-hmm.
because like prior to this, they always had like the Schwarzenegger, Stallone, like big muscly sort of superhero esque
Mm-hmm.
leading role.
Yeah.
But then they specifically cast Bruce Willis because he was just like your standard bloke, like just running around, normal guy, average physique.
Yeah.
But then he's also like kind of struggling and bumbling around, and you also see him like get really like scared and fearful and sort of upset about like what's happening, and yeah, it just became this crazy. Everyone kind of mimicked them afterwards. It was like, oh wait, we don't need the superhero leading guy. Like we
Right.
can just have the relatable guy overcoming serious odds. Like always before, it was like the Schwarzeneggers and the Stallones. They would have like the quips and the one-liners and stuff that came from a place of, oh, we're better than you, and like
Mm-hmm.
taking the piss out of the bad guys.
Right.
Whereas Tom is like John McClane, just like, I'm in such a shit position right now, and I've
Right.
somehow managed to overcome the odds. And it's like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, it's so weird because like John McClane really like the character really is well written to the point where like you still realize he is just a cop that's like trying his best to like do things that he like go above and beyond the call of duty, but he's not like overselling it or anything like that. Like he doesn't have those like ridiculous like instinct moves or it's like, okay, time to like jump off that building and then go this way. No, he's just fucking fudging it along as it goes. Like, oh, this might work, this might not work. I don't fucking know, but let's try it anyway, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, it's really cool. I mean, and he does basic shit like let me just throw somebody out the fucking window so I can get their attention, like um that's something.
Yep. And then even Alan Rickman's portrayal of Hans Gruber also redefined like the villain side on the other end of the scale as well, because they were usually just like bland, generic, like madmen that just wanted to like rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, he's smart and he's like highly educated, and he's like really playing with McClane. Like he's not just like, I'm gonna rule the world, I'm gonna kill everyone.
Right.
And he's just like, and he's kind of like playing chess,
Mm-hmm.
like trying to just fuck with McClane and like stay one step ahead.
Yeah. Also, let's take a moment for his impeccable style, like well-tailored suit, like super sharp looking and everything like that. He even compliments his unfortunate victim on his tailored suit too. Like, he's just so mild mannered with the way that everything's going.
And that also like with the redefining action and action heroes as well. Bruce Willis was paid $5 million for this role, despite it being like one of his very earliest roles. And it gave him a salary that was more comparable to people like Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty, and Robert Redford, who were like the action guys, like
Yeah, they
the
were really well known.
leading men in Hollywood. And the New York Times described it as the salary equivalent of an earthquake. So like this basically totally shook up the whole scene, and like
Of course.
the MGM chairman Alan Ladd said that it threw the business out of whack. Like everybody else in town was stunned that, holy shit, you're going to pay this like relatively unknown
Yeah,
$5 million for this random action movie that
we don't know how it's gonna
like
do.
what is happening here. And then
That's
so like from that point on, like salaries which usually topped out at $2 to $3 million,
yeah.
$5 million was kind of your starting point.
Yeah, that's insane. But I mean, it worked. I mean, it worked really well, I think, in their favor and stuff like that. And I mean, look at it now. It's aged well. I feel like this is one of those movies that has aged well because everybody kind of just goes back to it, and there's nothing like cringe about it for the most part. Like other than
Well, there's very little CGI. It's all like practical effects. Like they filmed this on location at the Paramount lot, I think it was. Like the actual building is the movie studio. It's like their head office. So they didn't like go and build a set. They were just like, oh, just use our office and we can. Yeah, it's the headquarters of 20th Century Studios. So they just used that so that it was an actual office building.
Yeah, which is really fun. And I mean, to be fair, like there isn't a lot of elaborate things that were needed for this set, other than like the explosions and stuff like that. But there's only like one or two major like explosions for the most part. Like a lot of it is just interior like shootings and stuff like that. And then obviously like the gigantic finales and stuff. But you know, a lot of it is just like up close things. And there's some really like full on sequences.
And like the explosions, they just did those explosions. They didn't like CG them so that
Right.
Yeah, there's no way that they can like really age because that's just an explosion.
Yeah, plus like I don't know, like I feel like it's a lot more in your face too, because I remember when we were watching it and they did the first execution and you just like texted and you're like, holy shit. You're like, that's insane. And for a movie that was made in like the late 80s, that was a very full on like execution style.
They didn't try to like shy away from anything. Because like even like watching the original Gladiator from 2000. Like I thought that was remembered that in my head as much more gory than it is.
Yeah.
And then you watch it and it's like a lot of like you see the sword swing and then it'll cut to another angle where you just see like a head fall on the ground or something.
Yeah, this is not
you don't
like
actually
that.
see the head going through like this. You just see the guy get shot right in the face. Like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
You see the blood splatter happen on the literal glass door. It's like, oh, and this is from the late 80s. Like they definitely didn't hold back in this. So I think it's definitely done well for itself, and there's not like a lot of movies that can really hold up to that. I don't think right now.
Yep. And I know there was like with the like filming it in 20th Century Studios, like in their office building. The only real change that they did to that building was like obviously they moved some of the furniture out for the sort of the levels that were supposed to be still sort of under construction.
Yeah.
But they didn't use the overhead fluorescent lights. Like hid actual studio lights in the roof.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that it wasn't just like this flat fluorescent light on everything. So they could actually get some of those sort of cinematic shadows and depth on the faces. So that it wasn't just like everyone's lit up to the absolute full ball all the time.
Yeah. No, that's interesting though. I didn't know that. That's really cool actually.
Yeah. And you can kind of see it. I think the scene you see it the most is probably when he's having that gunfight on the level that's under construction.
Yeah.
And like you see all the construction lamps set up, but they're definitely like the studio lights so they can actually have like beams of light coming from all different directions.
Yeah, that is really fun. That's a fun scene anyway. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that they're so fun. Like, they're a lot of fun to look back at and rewatch it and just kind of like reflect on it, I guess, after like all these years. Because I never thought about not necessarily tearing it apart, but like piecing it apart and like looking at it in different aspects of things. Like it's just never been one of those things for me that I thought, yeah, it's not bad.
And one of the things that like really surprised me in researching too was they didn't begin development on this movie until 1987. So like it's based off a book, so like it's not like they had to write it from the ground up from scratch. So they just had to adapt a book into a screenplay. But they started in 97 and it was released in 98.
That's kind of fun. 87, 88.
87, and then released in 88. Like, they didn't mess about.
No, that's
must
a
have-
really small time.
They wrote that screenplay quick and then got in, filmed it, and in and out.
Yeah,
Probably because it was their actual office building and they didn't want to
hold
close
it up.
it down for a year and a half of filming.
Yeah, like you want to save money by just using what you already have, but like you don't want to like hinder operations for very long. And obviously, like this movie, a lot of it is filmed at night, so I'm presuming that they did a lot of their filming at night anyway.
Mhm.
So that's also another smart role on their part, is probably just like, oh, hey, we're just going to close down like these 1 or 2 floors and relocate some people for a couple days, maybe. So it was pretty smart, honestly.
Yep. And the costume department had 17 different undershirts in various stages of degradation.
Despair and shit.
Yeah, so they had like obviously the fresh, clean one for the beginning of the movie, and then depending on what scene they were filming, they're like, you've got to wear shirt number 12 today.
You got a hole here and some blood splatter over here, and the next day, oh hey, you haven't killed anybody yet, so you're still kind of clean. You're just a little sweaty and dirty right now.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a good one.
Fun.
In 2017, the movie was selected by the U.S. Library of Congress to be preserved in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant, which
that
makes
should be.
sense.
Yep, that should be.
And on that note, it's coined the term "die hard on" or "die hard in" a something.
Okay.
So, like, it became shorthand for this movie genre, which was this lone everyman hero who has to overcome an overwhelming opposition
Mm-hmm.
with, relatively small or confined location. So you had Die Hard, which is this one takes place in a skyscraper,
Right.
and that's it. Like, they don't go anywhere else. It's just this
Yeah.
one skyscraper.
One
They're in
set.
one location the entire time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's John McClane versus half a dozen Russian goons.
Yep.
So then that's spurred on Under Siege, which is described as Die Hard on a battleship.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cliffhanger, Die Hard on a mountain.
Yeah.
Speed, Die Hard on a bus.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Air Force One, Die Hard on a plane.
Uh-huh.
And in an interview, Bruce Willis said he was actually pitched once a film that was Die Hard in a skyscraper. And he turned around and said to the guy, I think that's already been done. Like, who is going into that meeting and being like, hey, Bruce, we've got this idea for this movie. It is Die Hard in a skyscraper. You just like,
Have you
you
not?
ever even watched Die Hard, you idiot?
Yeah, like we already did that. That was the OG.
Yeah, I imagine he got that pitch and was just like, I'm not doing this fucking movie.
Yeah, no, I did that once. I ain't going back.
Well, that's basic. I wonder if, you know what I think it probably was? Skyscraper.
Oh, it could have been. Yeah, that's very.
The Rock ended up doing.
Yeah, that's a very
It's
big
basically Die
possibility.
Hard.
Yeah, and I never watched that movie because I'm not the biggest rock fan. So like, my rock.
It's
movie
basically
knowledge
Die
is
Hard,
good.
but like ramped up to 1,000 because they end up bringing down the entire skyscraper.
Oh,
And
for God's sakes.
The Rock plays like the engineer.
Yeah, no.
It's like building the skyscraper. So it's like, okay, cool.
You know what's funny is like Under Siege, you said it's like Die Hard on a battleship, but like I just thought of something, and like Speed 2, which was a terrible speed movie, was on a yacht. And so that's
Yeah,
I
Die
guess
Hard on a
kinda
cruise
like
ship.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I'll never look at some of these movies the same way ever again.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other like.
Movies
There's
that
not
are
really
kinda
many
like that.
others that like stick to the really confined location anymore. Like, we've got a lot of movies now where it's like the everyman hero, but
Mhm.
they're trying to like lean into the more broad scale storytelling. Like
Yeah.
that film Nobody, Like he's just like a tax collector,
Yeah.
but secretly he's like a crazy assassin and can fight off anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not not confined to this one small location. It's like citywide, so not
Yeah.
quite the same thing.
Yeah, there's not like a whole lot of them that are like that, I guess. I don't know now. Now I want to kind of like look and like observe other movies that I've seen and just be like, hey, kind of like that.
Yeah. But overall, the movie ended up doing insanely well. So the budget was estimated between $25 and $35 million.
Mm-hmm.
Their global earnings lifetime is currently between 139.8 and $141.5 million.
So
Just
not
for the
bad.
original. And
Yeah.
then they did another 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so not too shabby.
Although I can't imagine the subsequent ones were made for $35 million. They're probably
No.
budgets, especially those like most recent two.
Mm-hmm.
Their budgets were probably closer to the $130 million mark.
Yeah. Well, and what's really interesting is that like they got Bruce Willis to come back for all of them. Like you didn't have to worry about like changing like your lead character in the middle of a franchise, you know, like he's just
It probably helps that he said John McClane is his favorite character ever.
yeah. So and to be fair, like I don't see anybody else ever being able to play the role of John McClane. Like it's just so iconic and Bruce Willis kind of that became him for a while, you know. It's one of those people. It's one of those roles where they become that character.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Die Hard without him. I don't think it would be one of these Die Hard clones at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if he was like the dad of the new McClane character, like just wouldn't fit. Everyone
yeah,
would be like, this isn't right.
The very last one that came out with Jai Courtney. I always feel like I say his name wrong, but I don't think I do. He was Bruce Willis's son, and like he was essentially doing almost like the same kind of shit that like his dad was doing at one point, kind of, just not like to that extent, but like it was very similar vibes, and I was like, he's not terrible for like a kid of a John McClane, but I don't think he could ever have stepped into the shoes of the actual character.
Yeah. So yeah, Die Hard. I guess you could throw it on at Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie. You're just putting it on there because everyone's saying that. So in terms of a rating, what would you give Die Hard out of 5?
Oh, Die Hard's a 5 out of 5 movie for me all the time because it's just like withstood the test of time for me. It's a fucking classic.
I would give this 4 non-snowmen out of 5.
It's fine. You don't need snowmen. It's just Christmas lights. It's fine. Santa hats. Like
No Santa hats, no Christmas trees. This is just 4 out of 5 mid-year random days.
You were such a fucking party pooper. Oh my god.
4 out of 5 March Wednesdays.
It is 5 out of 5 yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. That's what it is.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee, and you can follow me on social media at Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.